Hello! Welcome to yet another Roaming Fruits episode, and today, we are coming to you from the Church of the Sacred Hearts in Paris. In French, it is called Sacre Coeur. We approach the Sacre Coeur using this steep, narrow, and interesting stairway. It was such a climb that required stamina and motivation. Before we continue, we would like to thank you, our regular watchers and subscribers. We appreciate you guys. If today is your first time of watching our video, or you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification for when we upload new videos. Thanks! After scaling several steps of the narrow stairway, we were almost at the pinnacle, but we had to turn around to see what the view from the top of the stairs looked like, and boy, it didn't disappoint. It was good. Now back to the Temple of the Sacred Hearts, or Sacre Coeur as said in French. The Basilica is a Roman Catholic church in Paris, dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. It was formally approved as a National Historic Monument by the National Commission of Patrimony and Architecture on December 8, 2022. Sacre Coeur Basilica is located at the summit of the Butte of Montmartre. From its dome 200 meters above the Seine, the basilica overlooks the entire city of Paris and its suburbs. It is the second most popular tourist destination in the capital after the Eiffel Tower. This crest-like looking signboard talks about the shooting of March the 18th in 1871, which happened here at Montmartre. It happened after the failure of the nocturnal expedition charged with taking the cannons of the National Guard by surprise, which led to a bloody event on the said date. The Sacre Coeur is almost always packed full with tourists and locals alike. Fans of the Netflix hit show Emily in Paris will remember seeing the basilica feature in the show's most recent season. Aside its spiritual significance, lovers also visit the Sacre Coeur to declare their love by writing their names on padlocks, and throwing the key away as a declaration of being forever bond together in everlasting love. That sign says, "We never leave the Lord alone." 135 years of Eucharistic adoration at the Sacre Coeur. Since August 1, in the year 1885, the chain of perpetual adoration of the Holy Sacrament at the Basilica of the Sacred Heart has continued uninterrupted, including during the 1944 bombing and as recently as during the coronavirus pandemic. The basilica was first proposed by Félix Fournier, the Bishop of Nantes, in 1870 after the defeat of France and the capture of Napoleon III at the Battle of Sedan in the Franco-Prussian War. He attributed the defeat of France to the moral decline of the country since the French Revolution, and proposed a new Parisian church dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. The basilica was designed by Paul Abadie, whose Neo-Byzantine Romanesque plan was selected from among 77 proposals. Construction began in 1875 and continued for 40 years under 5 different architects. Completed in 1914, the basilica was formally consecrated in 1919 after World War I. Montmartre was selected as the site of the new basilica due to its prominent height and visibility from many parts of the city. Since the location included land belonging to the local government as well as private owners, the French Parliament assisted in securing the site by declaring that the construction of the basilica was in the national interest. In July 1873, the proposal was finally brought forward and approved in the National Assembly with the official statement that it was necessary to efface by this work of expiation the crimes which have crowned our sorrows. The groundbreaking for the new church finally took place in 1875. Apart from its physical attributes, Montmartre, or the Hill of the Martyrs, was also chosen for its association with the early Christian church. According to tradition, it was the place where the patron saint of Paris, Saint Denis of Paris, was beheaded by the Romans. His tomb became the site of the Basilica of Saint Denis, the traditional resting place for the kings of France until the French Revolution. In addition, Montmartre was the birthplace of the Society of Jesus, one of the largest and most influential religious orders in the history of the Catholic Church. In 1534, Ignatius of Loyola and a few of his followers made their vows in Saint-Pierre de Montmartre, one of the oldest churches in Paris. The church survived the Revolution, although the Montmartre Abbey to which it belonged was destroyed. Here is a 3D impression of the Sacre Coeur Basilica. It shows into detail the intricacies of the building while capturing its beauty in entirety at the same time. The view of this is so therapeutic, and you would have to be there by yourselves to truly understand it. The church is 85 meters long and 35 meters wide. It is composed of a large central rotunda, around which are placed a small nave, 2 transepts, and an advance choir, which form a cross. The porch of the church has 3 bays, and is modeled after the porch of Périgue's cathedral. The dominant feature is the immense elongated ovoid cupola, 83.33 meters high, surrounded by 4 smaller cupolas. At the north end is the campanile, or bell tower, 84 meters high, containing the Savoyard, the largest bell in France. The overall style of the structure is a free interpretation of Romano-Byzantine architecture. This was an unusual architectural style at the time, and was in part a reaction against the neo-Baroque of the Palais Garnier Opera House by Charles Garnier, and other buildings of the Napoleon III style. The construction was eventually handed on to a series of new architects, including Garnier himself, who was a counselor to the architect Henri-Pierre Rawlin between 1891 and 1904. Some elements of the design, particularly the elongated domes and the structural forms of the windows on the south facade, are neoclassical and were added by the later architects Henri-Pierre Rawlin and Lucien Magna. Thanks for coming along with us on this basilica journey, we really appreciate your time. Until the next video, cheers!